Good afternoon, everybody. Today is April the 29th down here in South Alabama. Another beautiful day. Starting to get pretty warm. Thank God the humidity hasn't set in yet. That's the killer for me. I was all over the world in the Navy, and living down here on the Gulf Coast for the last 35 years is a pretty sweet compromise of all things good, with the exceptions of the oppressive summertime humidity and the occasional hurricane. Anyway, we're out here at the hangar again today. As you recall from one of my previous videos, I've installed an oil cooler door to help regulate my oil temperatures because they're always a little too low, even in the heat of the summer. So I got the door made and installed. Right now I just have it zip tied out of the way so I could continue to fly while I waited for the cable to come in. So as you can see, I got the cable yesterday. And so that's the project for today. All right, little update. Slight change of plans. Still on the same path though. As you can see, I've got the cowling, top and bottom removed, and they're laying over there beside my car, sitting in the shade. Got my new cable here. One issue I've had the last several months is my carburetor heat kind of creeps. I've tried a couple of things to keep it out, but it doesn't work. And you know, that's the original cable. I've been using it for 12 years, and I guess the little, or the ratchet part kind of gets worn. So I decided what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this as my carb heat cable. I've got the carb heat cable all loosened up and freed down here. Now the hard part, inside the cockpit, climbing up under the panel of this thing. And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm a pretty tough guy, but that kicks my butt. And as you can see, you know, right here's the main spar, right forward of the seat. And then there's a hole. And you gotta, you know, getting down on your back or on your stomach, there's no easy way to get up under the panel of an RV7. The reason that I think the old carb heat will work on the oil cooler door is because of this. This is my carburetor heat right here. You can see that's closed. And when I pull the cable, I don't know if you can see, but that comes open and it sucks heat from right here on these exhaust pipes and from the cylinders. But when it's open, move this propeller. As you can see, when the carb heat is open, that door comes down and there's a lot of air pressure right there. And over the years, the ratchet, which should be like this, see that's got pretty good ratchet in it, and it stays real well. The one in the cockpit's a little wore out. But with the oil cooler door, I don't have anything like that. I mean, there's air pressure here, but not near enough that's gonna affect the movement of this. And if it does, I'll figure something out. Well, it kind of kicked my butt getting underneath that panel, in and out 3 or 4 times, but I got the carburetor heat cable put on, and it's working like a champ. Let me tell you something I learned. The reason I wanted to replace the carburetor heat cable with the new one that I got that's in there now is the ratchet was, you know, I thought it was wore out, but I learned I could have done something about that, and I'll show that to you right here. I'm going to use this as a pointer. You see this little spring right here? Well, let me show you the knob. I'll pull the knob out. Work injury. You see these little grooves? That's what that spring goes down into to hold that in place. But now you see this little spring. Let me show you how this thing works. This little tiny spring just butts up against right here. There's an end to it there somewhere. There it is right there. You see the end of that spring. I can't get too close, it'll get blurry. But back here, you see that little straight part of the spring. Well, I'm going to pull this down the best I can, and maybe you can see it. You see there's a little groove. There's a little groove in this piece right here that flat part of that spring goes down into. And all that does I'll use this to illustrate. All that does is that little flat piece of that spring rests down in there and works like that. As you pull the cable in and out, that's the ratchet, and that's what holds it in place. So on the old cable, what I did was I pulled that spring down, and I took a little tiny screwdriver and I pushed that spring down so it would have more tension on the serrated part of that cable, and it worked. That's okay. I'm glad I bought the new cable anyway, because I needed one for the oil cooler door. So anyway, that ought to hold my carburetor heat in place and keep it from creeping in once I pull it out. The oil cooler door is finished. As you can see, I had to make some changes. I had to end up making a whole new door, and the reason is because I learned that the position of this little bracket here, you know, the hinge point, whether it was here or here, was very critical. One time I put it on there and it was a little bit, you know, when I opened it, it was over center. When I tried to close it, it just pushed the door further open. So that was no good. I ended up making a new door, same as the old one, but one piece this time. And I put this little angle on there like that so I could just adjust it by drilling one more hole, which worked out beautifully. And this little notch right here is for this when it opens, and I like it because it stops it from going over center. And I'm going to open it now and show you. That's full open right there. As you can see, it can't go anymore, and the reason it became very sensitive to where this is because you can see the pull line, the hinge point, and the hinge is almost in line. Once that's in line, then it might go over center. This, and as you can see, fully open is only about 45 degrees, and I think that's going to be fine, because even in the summertime, my oil, according to my sensor, was not getting up quite to where it should be. So if that creates a little bit of resistance and raises it a few degrees, then that's fine. I don't think it's going to raise it in any. I think I'm going to have to end up closing it a few clicks. And I had thought about trying to get some footage under the panel, but I'm going to tell you, that's just a nightmare as far as on my back, down in a hole. So you just have to take my word for it. Nothing but zip ties under there, but it all come out good. Appreciate a like, subscribe, and your comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.